Hey everyone, welcome to the Viridian News Sports Podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Ty.
And I'm Cassidy.
Today we're going to be talking about the MLB and the World Series and all the MLB voting. Thank you guys for tuning in.
I also like to give a thank you to Silver Sky Woodworking for sponsoring today's episode. For more information, visit the Viridian News website. Did Ronald Acuna Jr. deserve the MVP?
Absolutely. If there's anyone who says he doesn't, then he's probably wrong. They're probably wrong. So, if you can put up numbers like he did, having 70 stolen bases, having 40 home runs, and or if he did get 100 RBIs, that's even better, and hitting above a 330 batting average, that's locking up the MVP. But his teammate Matt Olson did also very, 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 very well. So it was really close between the MVP race.
He did deserve it. He had one of the best seasons of all time, and it is incredibly hard to recreate that.
I think Ronald Acuna Jr. deserved the MVP because when compared to Mookie Betts' stats, he definitely deserves the title.
Do you guys think Shohei Ohtani deserved the MVP?
I feel when compared to how others did, he probably didn't deserve the MVP.
I think that Corey Seager deserved it. He had better stats and carried his team to the World Series victory. In my eyes, Corey is the MVP.
I feel like one of the main reasons Shohei won the MVP was because he can pitch. If he can't pitch, then that's Corey Seager's award. Yes, he had an incredible season, but Corey Seager was just better. Did anyone deserve an award over anyone else?
I feel Corey Seager deserved MVP over Shohei.
I think their awards were perfect.
I have to agree with Cassidy. Their awards were really good this year. Everyone deserved it, and I feel like every award was pretty even.
Are you surprised the Rangers won the World Series?
If I'm being 100% honest, I have to say I am very surprised they won the World Series. I did not expect to see them winning it this year. I thought the Braves were going to win it, especially after the historic season they just put up. But every given day, something can happen.
I did not expect them to go in the playoff, let alone in the World Series.
After the bad years they had in 2021 and 2022, I am really surprised by how well they did, and they definitely shocked the entire MLB with how well they played.
Who was the most disappointing team this season?
I was really disappointed with how the Blue Jays did. I felt they did really well last year, and even though they didn't do that bad this year, it was still a pretty big disappointment.
I feel like the Mets or the Padres, they were supposed to be really, really good this year, but they were disappointing, especially with how much money they spent last offseason. It's got to be one of those two.
Who was the most surprising team this season?
Like we said before, I would have to go with the Rangers.
If anyone says anything other than the Diamondbacks, they're wrong.
I have to disagree with you on that. The Marlins looked incredible. Even though they did really bad last year, or not really bad, but not good, they still made the playoffs in an incredible fashion. So the only other team who is in competition is the Reds, and that's pretty much it.
Which team were you rooting for this season?
I was rooting for the Atlanta Braves.
I was also rooting for the Atlanta Braves.
I'm from Atlanta. Well, I'm from Georgia, not from Atlanta. But it's a hometown team. You got to root for the hometown teams. So give me Atlanta. Who do you think was going to do good, but I actually ended up doing bad?
I thought the Yankees were going to do really good this year after their last year performance, so I was really shocked by how they did this year.
I think the guy who I didn't really expect to be good or bad was honestly Ellie De La Cruz. He had a lot of potential coming up, and I just feel he did okay, but not good enough for the amount of hype he got.
Definitely Sandy Alcantara after winning the Cy Young last year. And looking at his stats this year, it was really hard to watch.
Who do you think was going to do bad but did good?
I thought Orlando Arcia was going to do really good.
Honestly, I thought that Corey Seager was going to have a bit of a down year. I mean, you look at the guys last year and you look at the years before, he looks really good. But he's also very injury prone. So I didn't think he was going to have that good of a year. And he really turned my eyes open, and he almost won MVP. So y'all all love the Braves, as myself does as well. What do y'all think was the best moment from the Braves season?
I'm going to have to go with when they played against the Cubs. I feel that game was very good to watch.
My favorite moment from the Braves season was when Ronald Acuna Jr. taken the stolen base record. It was so fun to watch and so cool to see him get it.
It's one of two moments. It's either seeing Matt Olson break the franchise record for home runs or seeing Ronald Acuna get the stolen base. I think it was incredible to watch both of them, and there's really no bad moment.
Do you think the Athletics moving to Las Vegas is a good or bad move, and why?
I think, based on the history of the Athletics, they should have just stayed in Oakland. There's no point in moving. I mean, yeah, I get it. The money purposes, the fans are showing up, but it's still, the history is unmatched from any other team.
I think it'll be good for them to move for money purposes, but for the love of baseball, no, absolutely not.
I'm going to have to agree with both of you. I think they should have stayed in Oakland because they've been there for so many years. It seems pretty dumb to move now.
So, as Braves fans, it's one of our jobs to dislike the Mets. So, do you think the Mets disappointed you again?
The Mets suck. They're disappointing every year.
They were disappointing once again. What else did y'all expect?
Definitely a train wreck.
Who do you think will win the next World Series?
I think the Blue Jays have a very good chance of winning next year. Even though they didn't do as good out as I would expect them this year, I feel they can come back and win the World Series.
I have to be biased for a minute. Give me the Braves. Give me the Braves winning the World Series again. I don't care if you call me biased. I don't care if you call me a bad fan or a bad baseball knowledge person. Give me the Braves. Give me the Braves.
I think the Orioles will win next year. Who do you think will win AL and NL MVP next year?
For NL, I think either Matt Olson or Shohei Ohtani will win it. But for AL, I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. could really make a shot at winning the MVP, since I have Shohei moving on to the NL.
I think for AL it will be Corey Seager, and for NL it will be Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman.
I have to agree with Drew for Matt Olson for NL. He's had an incredible 2023 season. But for AL, I think Julio Rodriguez will win. He has had a great year, and I think he can win the award next year.
Who is the most electric player in baseball?
I think we can all agree on this one. It's Ronald Acuna Jr. He just had an outstanding year, up almost perfect year in the eyes of some analysts. The only other person or player who could really fight with Ronald Acuna is Corbin Carroll, and it's only because of his speed.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Drew, and say Ronald Acuna 100%.
I also have to agree with Drew.
So, where do you think Shohei will end up this offseason?
I think Shohei will stay with the Angels for at least $600 million.
I think Shohei will sign with the San Francisco Giants.
I think the Cubs will make a really big move, and I think that he'll go and sign with the Cubs for like $450 to $550 million.
Who will make a big free agency splash?
I think the Twins will go crazy this offseason, like bonkers.
I think the clubs will go crazy in the free agency.
I feel like no team is really going to make a huge splash, but if I had to pick, probably the Twins or the Cubs. So is there a team who you thought would make the playoffs, but actually finish with a record below 500?
I thought the Mets would at least finish with 81 wins.
I thought the Red Sox would make it, but they did not do as good as my predictions were.
Definitely a little disappointing from the Padres. I mean, with the amount of talent on that roster, you've got to at least do something. 82 and 80 is not going to cut it.
Do you guys think you could hit a baseball from a pitcher?
I don't think anyone who doesn't play professional baseball could hit a baseball off a professional pitcher, because they're throwing at 90 plus miles an hour. 90 miles an hour. That's about as fast as cars go on a freeway. Think about it. You're not going to ever hit anyone who plays in the MLB. Not a chance.
I have to agree with Drew. I will not. Never in a million years.
I'm going to have to say absolutely not. I suck at baseball, so I am definitely not going to be able to do that.
After the incredible season from Ronald Acuna Jr., do you think he's going to put up similar numbers, or do you think he's going to take a step back?
I think Acuna will take a step back, but still put up amazing numbers.
I think Acuna will do about the same.
So, what do you guys think is the appropriate amount for Shohei Ohtani's contract?
I think the minimum offer is $400 million, maybe $350 million.
I think the appropriate amount for Shohei is around $400 to $5 million.
If it's anything below $500 million, then I don't know if it's very good for Shohei, because he's a generational talent. I mean, when's the last time you saw a guy hit 50 homers and also pitch like a Cy Young candidate? It's incredible. We're witnessing history.
Do you guys think the Braves and Dodgers are regular season teams?
As a Braves fan, if the Braves lose again in the postseason, then yes, they are. Because they always do good in the regular season, but they don't do good in the postseason other than that 2021 year. The Dodgers, they're a regular season team. No question about it. No doubt in my mind that they are a regular season team.
I think the Braves could win the postseason if they lock in, but the Dodgers are a regular season team for sure.
I'm going to have to agree with both of you on that. The Dodgers definitely are a regular season team, but if the Braves keep this up, then they will be too.
Do you guys think that the MLB should change any rules or anything?
I think the rules are okay, but I miss the shift.
I think the MLB rules are fine just the way they are.
I would love to see the shift back, but it's also nice seeing other players get hits, and it's also nice to see more players hitting for batting average and not for home runs.
What do you guys think about the pitch clock?
I think it's great. I love the pitch clock, and I love how quickly the games are going by, because it actually made baseball fun to watch again.
I love the pitch clock. When watching baseball in previous years, it was so boring. it was the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Now, it's all right.
I don't hate the pitch clock. I think it's interesting. It keeps the game shorter.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of The Highlight.
Have a good day, and always remember,
Go Dogs!